First and foremost, if my tone affects anyone in a negative fashion as we're talking about this young man, please forgive me. I am merely trying to be calm in a very emotional situation. I don't like to see any positive person killed, so please don't take it as I'm being cold, because I wouldn't have been moved to speak about this at all if it didn't affect me. The question, our good deeds, what we do to better our fellow man, and by extension, what we do to make better neighborhoods. Should we be public in regards to the good that we do? I think when we look at the data, the history of violence when it comes to those who are public advocates of peace and prosperity for all instead of the few, we can surmise that opening your mouth about the good you do for others is a bad idea. Unless, of course, you're willing to have a short life. Now that the pleasantries are over, let's get to the hard shit. First and foremost, respect to the dead. But the dead teach us that anybody can get it. That's the facts. It's fucked up and it shouldn't be that way, because to kill someone is wrong. The facts are, we all get old and die. We don't have to kill one another. That's part of the reason why it's wrong. When you kill someone, you cut a life short, and you never know what that person could have done if he had lived. Nipsey Hussle's death showed what could be done in a short span of 33 years. His death should serve as an example to others who are still in this silly-ass gangster game. I'm gonna say it again, because it's just that important. Killing people is wrong. It actually is the greatest evil we can do. And as a war veteran, I can speak for some of my other fellow vets when I say that when you kill a man, or even when you see a lot of bodies, it takes something from you as a man. Something real fucking important, and you don't realize it until later, until you have kids yourself or just start seeing people running around you. You feel less. It takes value of life away from you, piece by piece, when you kill a man or when you see a lot of death. It puts things in perspective for you. But just because death and seeing death puts life in perspective, it doesn't mean that it's healthy to surround yourself with death, because at some point you do want to remember that living is of the utmost importance. Just because killing is wrong doesn't mean it doesn't happen, and so it does again and again. We focus on death so much, but if we focused on what positive people would have done if their lives had not been cut short, then we would probably be more fed up as a society. Instead, when positive people die, we grieve and then we move on. We aren't moving on correctly though, because these kinds of people, the positive ones, the optimistic and the unifiers, these people are few and far between, I notice. Positive folks die, and we wait for a long time for another one to come along and impact our lives. I'm not even talking about high-profile people. I'm talking about regular people. Ever notice how the word hero and Samaritan aren't said about more people? That's because you just don't see motherfuckers like that on a regular basis. You see, to be a positive force is simply special, and we should be cultivating more people to be this way. It's as simple as that. There should be another positive person waiting to step in when the unfortunate happens. After all, the president always has a vice president, right? But in this case, the people need the peaceful president and his second in command. Lesson number 2. The video is out of Nipsey's killing, and you can see that the dude shoots him execution style. 3 shots to make sure he's dead and kicks his dying body like it ain't shit. This is yet another hard-ass lesson to take. To many, Nipsey was an icon, but to someone else, he wasn't shit. He was just a body to be killed and kicked. The lesson is that your life is only as special as you make it. Your life is only worth how much you're willing to risk it for. For instance, if you're willing to risk your life for drug dealing, then your life is worth as much weed as you sold the day you got killed. Those who mourn your death consist of close family members and dudes in your crew. But if you're a man like Nipsey, who risks his life to give back to an entire community, to educate, to impart street knowledge that translated into higher survival tactics that lead to social empowerment, then your life is worth a whole hell of a lot more to a lot of people. So be clear, be very clear about your self-worth, the worth that you see in yourself, because chances are that there are those who see you as worthless, and you're gonna have to watch out for that. And if presented with that kind of hate, you're gonna have to take steps to deal with it, to defend yourself from it. You have to watch your back if you're a positive person. It's fucked up, right? But when you study the historical body count of good people, you gotta wise up, which leads to lesson number 3. When you begin to love yourself, there will be people who begin to hate you. It's not because you're arrogant. It's because love is such an infectious feeling. The positivity that comes from it is so inspiring. that misery and people who are miserable are attracted to that positivity. Misery is angry that it cannot feel what everyone else is feeling from you. People, you need to understand something. Depression is at an all-time high in America. The data is real, son. As a positive person, you want to give that positivity to others. And as crazy as it sounds, others will hate you for it. Jealousy, point blank. And you can die for it. Lesson number 4. The narrative of why we as blacks always got to do this to one another is going to be brought up. Please, please, please cut the bullshit. Every ethnicity kills where they live. It could have been a white neighborhood with a guy getting shot just as easy. It has happened tons of times. But since he's black and famous, this is the kind of shit that rises up. No such thing as black on black crime, people. There's just crime. Crime is committed by human beings. The end. Anyway, in this age of social media, it didn't take me long to get the word on the street. I don't know the story the media will tell you, but Nipsey wasn't killed over no gang shit. Knowing what I know now, that young man was highly respected in those streets. He was like a don. You don't kill that man and live 48 hours later, unless you just don't give a fuck about your life. And allegedly, this man, Eric Holder, did not. I try to drop facts every video, even though I speak my opinions. So here's a hard fact. There is no street code. There's no real respect for the brothers in the brotherhood. Know what I'm saying? All you street dudes need to stop believing in that shit. It's a lie. My dad was a gangster, and I avoided being part of any gangs growing up because my dad made it very clear. Your boys, or even your men, will snitch. And if they got something to gain by doing so, they'll snitch just that much faster. The street code is a fantasy. Some shit y'all dreamed up while watching The Godfather or something. I don't know. You better watch the whole movie, because betrayal is right in the movie. The movie Scarface, that's another classic y'all wannabe gangsters dig. Watch it again. Betrayal is right there. There's no honor among criminals. If we all from the hood and want to be rich so we can get out that shit, then there can't be any true and lasting honor in whatever gang we create, because somebody is going to sell us out, because we all are desperate. There is no honor among desperate men. I don't give a shit what gang you're in. There are snitches and liars and backstabbing people in it. A bunch of them. And they all got one thing in common. They all acting like they got your back and are loyal. I need y'all to please listen. Young men, women. When cats say that they are down for whatever, you need to listen to them, because they will betray you. They will do whatever. If cats say that they're real niggas, then you better listen to them, because they're telling you they don't give a fuck about building anything positive. They only care about creating other niggas just like them. With niggas, going to jail is the real heaven. Jail is the prize with real niggas. I don't give a shit what you call your crew, your squad, your mob, your Aryan Brotherhood, your clan. If you're all criminals or down to fuck up other people, then you'll do it to each other. You'll sell each other out if the circumstances are right. And it's usually due to money or a woman. That's the facts. Deal with that shit. Accept it. Consider it before you think about starting a criminal empire or joining a gang for brotherhood and protection. You may find one loyal man among 1,000. Everyone else you paranoid about. You could have just been solo and lived the same life with that same mindset, being paranoid, watching your back. It takes a lot of energy. You could have did anything else just as hard, like stressing over how to make it to school or a math test. You could have applied that same paranoid energy. You so-called gangsters out there, you've no code of honor, nothing to structure you when you're attacked by outside forces. And that is why every criminal organization has been hit. That's why you guys cannot fuck with the feds. You can't even fuck with the cops. If we're all criminals, there can be no true honor, because there is no honor in taking what belongs to another. There's no honor in selling poison to another man. There's no honor in a gang versus one man. However, there is honor in earning what you have. There's honor in fighting man to man. There's honor in watching the backs of those who can't see. There's honor in helping those who can't help themselves. How we treat others who are at a disadvantage shows how honorable we truly are. If you take advantage of a person who has a disadvantage, then you're a cheat, you're a dog, a jackal. Don't even call yourself a lion. Do unto others as you would have others do unto you, correct? So you want people to rob you and beat you down like a dog in the street. You want other people to sell you poison so your mind and body can be weak and vulnerable. Or maybe you think it's right to poison yourself and steal from your own pockets. If you feel that these things are right to do as a human being, then you are a fool. And if you kill for no reason, without remorse, you're a fucking animal, a rabid beast. And the general rule for dealing with such animals is to take them out. Now that probably ain't the right thing to do, but I'm just saying what's been done. And if you want to be an animal, then don't get upset when people treat you like one. If you're crazy and you gangster and don't give a fuck about the lives of those around you, then don't expect those around you to have pity when it's time to deal with you. As I said earlier, to kill a man is wrong, but just because it's wrong doesn't mean it doesn't happen. Doesn't mean it stops people from doing it. Even if Nipsey's killing were gang related, then gangs are just an extension of surviving the streets. It's not so much about gang violence. It's about why young kids feel like they gotta join a gang in the first place. If the streets are that fucked up, and there hasn't been any government intervention to introduce educational programs or whatnot, then it's because the government wants to keep that part of America looking and being shitty. It's not gang violence that took him out. Not really. It was jealousy, and by extension, the government's long-standing failure to turn around bad neighborhoods. That is what Nipsey was trying to do. If you want something done, you have to try to do it yourself. Because the government has no problem investing drugs into a neighborhood, but when it's time to invest money to fix the shit that they started, they only have money for gentrification. The government helps only when it benefits them. And they will fuck your neighborhood up just to see what happens with the new drug so they can make money off of it later. I know this for fact. I grew up in the crack era. It was real. You saw the government influence and the entire experiment on black people at the time. With all that being said, it's the power of good people versus the money and the coldness of the government. Let Nipsey Hussle's death remind all of you young entrepreneurs out there that investing in your old neighborhood is no easy task, especially when it's a low-income neighborhood. But if you're smart about doing it, it can work. Facts are, if you know your hood is rough, but you want to open up a store, make sure you have the street connections to do it. You ain't the government where you can just swoop in and do whatever. You gotta move strategically. If you're coming back to your hood, you know what's up, so prepare accordingly. If that means paying for security, do so. If that means staying strapped yourself, do that shit. Cause you can be a man of positivity and change all you want, but understand those around you may not be. Remember, you can get touched. So you need to look out for you. Find that one loyal man or woman among 1,000 and hold on to that person for dear life, because you can't do it alone. And just food for thought for all you conspiracy cats out there. It's a well-known fact that there are police informants in gangs. Divide and conquer. The FBI did it to the Black Panthers and it worked. And the Black Panthers weren't even a gang. They were so far above that simple shit. So what makes you think that gangs like the Crips and Bloods ain't been infiltrated and influenced? It's actually common knowledge that there's agents in every major gang in the United States. Those are facts. There's no conspiracy shit needed. I ain't saying one of these agents got to Nipsey, but it certainly sounds better than some of the other stuff I'm hearing in regards of the government killing him over a Dr. Sebi documentary. This young man was about to set up a situation that not only would have leveled up the people in his neighborhood, he was about to position himself for generational wealth. By extension, if Nipsey's plan worked, LA would have benefited from it, because when one part of LA begins to make more money, then all of LA benefits. And that's why you had the mayor of LA holding a press conference saying Nipsey was assassinated. They only use that term for the important people, for the respected. You don't get that kind of respect from a capitalistic government like ours unless you had influence with the people. And with the people being the true power, Nipsey was in prime position to be major. I told you, this young man was a don. He was highly respected on them streets. The people were behind him. Folks keep saying that this wasn't supposed to happen. That's true, but can't y'all see the reality? That boy is dead. Anybody can get it then. Anybody. because there's no damn street code. There's no respect for those better than you. Only jealousy. All you future game changers need to remember that. You can be the peaceful man who buys everyone in the club drinks just so everybody could have a great time on you. But you're gonna have that one motherfucker who's looking at you with jealousy, asking himself, who the fuck this guy think he is buying everybody drinks? The best intentions don't mean shit. They don't. It's not what you're wearing. It's not what you're doing. It's what people think you're doing. You have to let your actions speak, regardless. You have to let your actions speak. Don't even try to get in their heads. Don't try to prove anything to them. Your actions are going to have to prove themselves. Which leads to point number 5. Move in silence. If you're vocal about the shit you do for people, haters listen. Don't go on social media, nothing. Simply do what you are going to do. That's just what your enemy does. Do the same thing. You won't even see the killing, the murder coming. That's how you have to move as a positive person. Learn from the enemy. The enemy seems to be able to take our best and brightest so they can get shit done. Us positive people and you future positive people, you need to learn that lesson because it's quite obvious that it's effective. No one actually needs to know how much good you do for the community at all. There are plenty of anonymous philanthropists out there who may have built your neighborhood park or the entire cancer wing at a hospital. Again, your good works will speak for themselves, and those you helped will pay it forward. Believe that. Because when you're vocal, all you do is put a damn target on your back. Being positive is like flashy jewelry. Motherfuckers will kill you for it. The question has been asked, should a man give back to their community, especially if it's a low-income community? Yes. The answer is always yes. We should give back. You give until it's gone, because you can't take it with you. Simple as that. It's our human responsibility to elevate each other, just as it's our responsibility to rehabilitate those we can and imprison those of us who are straight animals. Help your community all you want. Just don't go back to the community until it's ready. See, the thing is, the hood is survival of the fittest. The fittest means the smartest or the strongest. And if you're smarter than most and stronger than most, then you've proven yourself to be exceptional. And exceptional people are not meant to do normal shit, like stay in a bad neighborhood that you know is bad. You're wasting the brains you've been blessed with. If you're on another level from those around you, fucking elevate. Don't keep yourself from doing what you're ready and able to do. Don't hold yourself back. Don't let a sense of misplaced loyalty to the neighborhood keep you from going to get more for yourself and seeing more of the world. How could I, as an intelligent human being, live in shit, begin to do better for myself, and rise above that same shit neighborhood, then feeling loyalty to save others in my old hood, go back to the same shit that I managed to escape in the first place? Fuck that. Invest. Give back to your community. But time moves forward. There's no reason for me to go back and have a presence in my old hood until it's changed. Until it's changed. Bottom line, if you know cats is out there acting stupid, then invest and love your hood from a distance, son. Simple as that. No one can ever take your hometown pride from you. I mean, I rep Brooklyn all the way in Japan, man. Where you from is important, but it's not more important as where you're at right now. Look, in case you cats out there can't understand, you young ones that just have that, that hood loyalty, but you feel yourself thinking different from your friends. You feel yourself wanting to do different. It's okay. It's natural law. It's just how it is. You're starting to see who you are. I mean, it's natural law. Lions do not long hang with sheep. I mean, once you realize you're a lion, then you go out into the world with a different mentality. It's a hunter's mentality. In the meantime, your friends, the sheep, they simply graze, eat grass, do simple shit all day, every day. And they happy to eat whatever is fed to them. That's a sheep mentality. Lions ain't about that. They hunt big game. And you as a human being, if you're intelligent and focused, can do so much more. Natural law is immutable, meaning there's nothing you can do about it. You ain't changing natural law until nature evolves. We all live within nature itself. So get to understand the ways of the one true master. That's real talk right there. You can't be a positive person. You can't try to make positive changes to people and, by extension, society without feeling some sort of love or care in your heart. That love is the fuel. If you're motivated by money, when your money runs out, so does your motivation. But us people that care, us people that love and want to see people do better, we might get tired sometimes, but that love, that care, we're just built that way. You have to be willing to embrace death, but you also have to be willing to defend your own life, because we are here to live our best, not our worst. We are not born to simply be killed. We aren't born to die, even though we will. Between being born and death is when we have to do our best work, living, surviving, thriving, and making this entire world better. If you love yourself, you will see how important your life is, and you will live a certain way from that point. Death is correct. Life includes death, the transition. We get old and we die. Nothing is supposed to live forever. But the more lives your actions change, then your name and legacy stands long after your passing. Rest in peace, young man. People are talking about you and your work. So your will and your work is being done regardless. And to those who want to be a positive change, don't be discouraged. Be smart about it is all. Keep working. Let us continue to do what we do. Don't do this unless you love it. Because as I said earlier, the love is the fuel. And we shed tears for these fallen soldiers because of that same love.